What's going on, everybody? It's your favorite dating coach, Elliot Scott, and as you can see by the title below, this is going to be your first Ask Elliot. Now, we might be a little bit all over the place with this. That's fine, okay? It's the first episode. I'm all about progression. I'm all about escalating. I'm about building the plane on the way down. So if this works, great. If not, we'll mold, fix it, tune it up a little bit, brand spanking new, okay? Probably by episode 20, it'll be a totally different layout. But I just wanted to get something out there, get some positive criticism from you guys, answer some questions, and have some fun, okay? So I was originally going to do this live, but I decided against it just because I think this would be easier. And I'm going to take the comments that you guys sent me from Facebook, Twitter, comment section, YouTube, and go with that, okay? So the first person is from my Facebook, and I see her all over the place. So, this is Bar Sabrina. Hi, Elliot. I would love for you to answer my question and be on your live stream, so here it goes. In terms of value, and it might sound funny, but bear with me, how much does a slight, she emphasized slight there, hint of common personality traits to a guy's mother can affect his emotions for you, okay? Is this a myth or not? Now, there's several ways that I kind of want to go down this, okay? Now, we're a mature audience. We're not going to think, I want to sleep with my mom or anything like that, but I feel like guys go down three different ways, okay? I do think it affects how he feels about you, and here's why. Number one, when he looks at his mom, that's his motherly figure. That's what he that's the womanly figure. That's what he bases kind of women off of, subconsciously. His first woman he saw, he grew up with her. He sees, it's just like having a father figure in or out of your life, for example, right? Same with the mother. I know I had a mother figure out of most of my life, about 15, 16 years. And I could tell the difference between how I treated women and how other people who had a motherly figure in their life, it was very drastic, okay? But a guy bases a lot of things subconsciously off his mom. Not only that, you see a mom as a feminine entity, right? She might be giving, caring, loving, nurturing, so on and so forth. Now, of course, because you're her daughter. But at the same time, those are traits a guy wants to look, a guy looks for in a girl. So does it have to do with his mom a little bit? Yeah, maybe a little bit. But at the same time, he wants a nurturing woman who does kind of branch off and resemble his mom. Let me give you a good example of that. If me and you had something in common, let's say skydiving, okay, I'd be like, wow, we have a lot in common. We have a nice interest, okay? And it might build some commonality, some bond, rapport, things like that. If my mom's into skydiving, or if my mom's into, let's say my mom's into rock climbing, and then you're into rock climbing, I will still, in my opinion, I'll still feel that same rapport for you because I'm so close to my mom, so nurturing my mom. And not only that, you got to remember, if a guy likes you, he'll try to find a way to justify it or justify any commonality, any means necessary, right? So if you are into rock climbing and my mom's into rock climbing, I'm like, oh, that's awesome. My mom's really into rock climbing, and then try to build a bond with you through that way. So I do think it has an effect, not from just an evolutionary and feminine energy trait, but I also think a guy, if he likes you, he'll try to justify it and bring it all together, all around, full circle, and try to get with you. That's just my opinion, okay? So hopefully I answered your question there. Now, we're going to go on to the next one. This is Missy. This is also from Facebook. She says, sorry, I was trying to think of a worthwhile question to ask. That's all right. Anywho, I would just come up with one from my own situation. How easy is it for guys to shut down, or how is it easy for guys to shut down their emotions in a physical relationship? Not talking about one night stands. Okay, here's the thing with that. In my opinion, at least, I feel that it's not easy for a guy to shut down his emotions. I personally feel that guys are more emotional. Actually, statistically, guys fall in love faster and guys have a hard time getting over breakups. And the reason for that is because men are status envy, ego driven, and stuff like that. Okay, so when a girl breaks up with him, he takes it very, 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 very personally. And these are statistics. These are studies. This isn't me saying this. I can link them somewhere if you want me to. It'll take me forever to find them, but this is what has been proved. I have learned it from personal experience too. Now, the reason a guy a lot of the times doesn't show a lot of interest in you, or he might show that he has less emotional inputs, like he's able just to push away and let go of it, doesn't have that connection as much as women, is because he probably isn't that interested to begin with. That's just my opinion. Because let me tell you, when a guy's really interested, you'll know. Believe me, you'll know. We are clingy, we are needy, we are insecure when it comes to that stuff. If an insecure guy likes you and he feels like he has a chance and that he might be losing you, oh my God, hey, boom, you got him, okay? These guys, I'm telling you, it took me 7 months to get over a girl in my past, and I was suicidal in those 7 months, right? So I'm telling you, it's really hard for a guy to get over a breakup when he truly cares about the woman. Again, it's all about investment. It's all about, is this woman of value? Is this woman something I want to pursue? And when he feels like it is and he isn't getting it, he's taking that not only very personal, but it's attacking his pride, his masculine energy, his ego, like all these different things. So, men, it's not that men shut down their relation or their physical emotions in a relationship and say, this is easy, I don't need that. They can detach easily. It's not so much that, it's why they went in there in the first place. And it probably wasn't the same reason for you. That comes down to what they call sexual strategies. I talk about it in my value guide. Guys have a different sexual strategy than women. Women have to build rapport. They have to bond. They have to build chemistry from an evolutionary perspective, right? Because if you didn't back then, and you'll say you're pregnant, you were weak, you were vulnerable to lions, to tribes, to bears, whatever the hell there was back then. Saber-toothed tigers, in the mountains. Like you were very vulnerable to it. While a guy wasn't. A guy could plant his seed and move on. A woman couldn't do that. So back then she took a hell of a lot more of the burden. So to counter that, evolution said, well, you need to care about this, 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 and this in a guy and make sure the guy commits, okay? Guys aren't like that. So unless he really likes you, he can detach easily, okay? Hopefully I answered your question there. The next one's from Elise. Hopefully I pronounced your name right. She says, so can there be a recoup if all things was done, but if all the wrong things were done, but the spark is still there? Or could I just F the spark and let it go? Here's the thing with that. God, I always say this. If there's still a spark there, then great. But that's not what guys are looking at. I mean, that might be a reason why people keep coming back and going, coming back and going, but that's just a symptom. Like, are you actually fixing the problems though? Because when a guy thinks when he pulls away, he thinks like, why would I come back? And he starts to evaluate the pros and the cons. And even though you might be a nice girl that he actually likes, and he says, man, I really like her, she was awesome, there's still a spark there, but what's the point of going back? We always argue. She's needy, she's clingy. Like, he knows when he's going back, he's opening a can of worms. He's just saying yes to the inevitable, like all this bullshit that's about to happen. And you can say, I'm not going to do that stuff again. Doesn't matter. He looks at your actions, right? And if your actions from it's all about context. You can say that right now, like, I'm sorry, forgive me, I'm not this, I'm not that anymore, I won't do this. Doesn't matter. He looks at your first off, attraction just happens, right? His attraction's probably going down really fast because of what you were doing previously. He can't help that. Secondly, he looks at the context and he thinks, okay, she says all that and there's still a spark there, but if I go back, I'm getting all this. Like, he knows what he's going back to. And it's not so much about the spark as it is the spark a fire? Is the fire big enough to keep me warm, right? Like, is it worth going back to? Is it worth taking the risk? And that just comes down to value, okay? So if it's not, don't think about the spark. Think about what he's thinking, the pros and cons. Think about what like put yourself in his shoes. How are you coming off? Like, would you go back to you? It's really as simple as that. And finally, the last one. This is from my YouTube channel. She says, hey, if I might say, in your guide, you say that on a first date, you shouldn't take too much space. But keep your hands to yourself. And now in this video, you're saying the exact opposite. Can you explain why? I think I don't remember what I was saying in my manology book. That's probably what you're talking about. But when the feminine energy is very closed off, right? She crosses her legs. She's kind of a little more proper. And the feminine energy is more brute, masculine. He likes to lay back, stretch his arm. You don't see a girl kicking her foot up and put her arm around a guy and say, "Hey, this is my girl. This is my girl right here." No, don't do that. Ow. But, ow, damn. That really hurt. But like men spread their legs, they open their arms, they take a lot of space, they're louder, things. That's just the masculine energy. You don't want to, when you're on a date, you don't want to compete with that energy. Now, this is something subconscious, right? A lot of people don't think about it, but you don't want to compete with that energy. You don't want to be, while he's like, You want him to be masculine, take the lead, and you want to be there and let him show you the loving, the fun time, right? Let him take the lead and see where it goes. Now, if you're trying to build escalation, sexual tension, progression, and move forward, then touching and putting your hands on him is a great way to do that. That doesn't mean you're taking up space, but it is a great way to touch a guy and build tension, to break barriers. Again, if you want to progress, you gotta close the proximity. You gotta look at the guy in the eyes. You gotta touch. You gotta flirt. You gotta show you're interested. And I think that's what I meant. And again, I don't know the video you're talking about personally, because I say it a lot. You all say I'm damn redundant, so I say it probably in a lot of videos, and I don't remember where in my book I actually said that. But usually the feminine energy is kind of closed off, not closed off, but to herself, centered is the way to look at it, centered, while the guy's tilted. And if you want to build sexual tension, you gotta touch, okay? Not sexual touch, just touch. So with that being said, ladies, there you go. There's the first episode of Ask Elliot. Let me know how it was. If I need to do something differently, I'll take all criticism. Doesn't matter. I love you, ladies. Take care. Hey, and peace.